Okay, welcome back to the Dragon's Den. This is going to be the last installment in the Beastars series, so I'm honestly kind of upset. Because I enjoy talking about it, even if some of it was just me rambling about things that I didn't like. I I do like talking about it. It's my favorite manga. So I'm just gonna go through a couple things real quick. I kind of gotta make this quick because my power is running low because I run on solar and it's just fucking terrible. So, um, we haven't had sun the last couple days, so now we got sun and now I got power. But okay, so let's just get started on that. I'm gonna say that the Haru Melon storyline definitely was the worst. Like the black meat, the black meat, the black that's just wrong. um, the black market concept that they threw away at the end was pretty bad, I will admit, because it's kind of the whole crux of the story. But I would say that the majority of stories are made up of characters, and the characters mean more than the stories, or at least in my opinion they kind of should, because it's like one of those things where you're like, you want the characters to mean something so that the story means something. So to me, throwing away the melon eating Haru storyline for nothing, for no reason, was the part that really irritated me the worst, because it was something that they so could have easily done. And it just went nowhere. Even the black market thing, it's like, okay, the black market's kind of there, and it is, again, kind of the whole point of the story of herbivores eating carnivores, that whole thing. But like, the characters are something that we really care about in this series. So I felt like it was kind of, that was the worst part for me, where I was just like, why does it have to be that way, where it's just so it was just so poorly done. And I hate storylines, especially good storylines, where you think they're going to go somewhere and then they don't, and not only do they not do anything interesting with it, they just throw it away. So I think that was pretty bad. So obviously I do got to talk about some positives here, because it is the end and this is kind of the conclusion. I think Beastars had a terrible ending. I have several videos now dedicated to that, but that does not mean you shouldn't read the manga. Like, it is incredibly good. It is on, like, all of them are on Amazon. You could just get them, and they're just really good. Like, I started rereading the rest of the series from the beginning, and my god, is it good. Like, the first like story arc with Legoshi trying to rescue Haru from the Shishigumi, and Legoshi actually trying to find out whether his feelings are real or not. It was so good. It's just so freaking good. The characters are just ah, they're just so good. And like, even the concepts of the black market and everything, again, such a moral dilemma. Now that I know where it ends, it kind of ruins it just a little bit, but not enough to make me not love it. I mean, like, them just going to the whole thing about the other Legoshi's other carnivore classmates just being like, this is what it means to grow up, you gotta eat meat, in order to survive and live in harmony with the herbivores. And Legoshi's just like, well, then I won't grow up then. And he just kind of tells him off. And there's just this whole thing with the black market that is just incredibly interesting and cool, about this world, because again, it is a moral dilemma. The reason carnivores like live in harmony with herbivores in the adult world is because the carnivores are eating meat, and although it is morally reprehensible, it's, again, a necessary evil in a way. Like, otherwise you're just going to have a whole bunch of carnivores out there, and it never establishes, I don't know. I'm just saying that it was just done so well in the beginning, where you really want to be in this world. I want to be in the world of Beastars. It's just so amazing. And again, the characters are great. Haru changed a lot. Like, I feel like Haru and Legoshi changed a lot. Like, Legoshi is always stays a kind of awkward goofball, which is good. But like, the original Legoshi was just such an interesting character, because he was just very introverted and I think that shows definite growth, which is very good. But the original Legacy was just so closed off. Like, reading it back now, and then knowing where we go for it, like, where Legacy is just, yeah, he's still, again, he's that awkward goofball, but the original Legoshi was just so much more brooding and so much more like quiet and just kind of did things without even thinking. He still does that, but it just hit different almost in a way. But like ever since he met Haru, he started to change. He started to grow as a character. Haru too, she turns very different from when we were first meet her, which is interesting because she's a very mature character even when we first meet her. So the idea of her maturing even more is something that is hard to do, yet it was kind of done. Although I don't really like where they kind of went with her character, I do feel like she did mature in the way that she learned a lot about carnivores through her relationship with Legoshi that wasn't just based around kind of like X in a way, right? Where it's like she has X with all a bunch of uh uh herbivore members just because she doesn't want to be pitied because she's a small herbivore. And you know, Legoshi, she says it herself, Legoshi was her first carnivore, so it's like that's kind of crazy. That was her first like carnivore actual interaction with a carnivore, and it changes them both very drastically. So I think that that's good. I just want to talk about some positive there because it's just such a good series, dude. Like it really is. The manga is amazing. I'm not a huge fan of the anime just because of how it was done. They changed some things that a lot of lines and stuff that I didn't think need to be changed, and I'm not a fan of the 3D animation stuff. I will admit, I'm not a fan of 3D animation. Don't give me the shit they couldn't have done it in 2D. They did it in 2D. They've made animal characters in 2D since the beginning of time. Hello, The Lion King. Like, they made those characters so human and be able to talk and everything while having animal faces. Like, it can be done, okay? Don't talk like that. Don't talk like that. But yeah, it was just interesting. That I just have to bring that up. That I've been rereading it and it's just been so good and so crazy cool. To this is the ending of it, so I just kind of wanted to add some positive things in here. Okay, so also another positive thing that I did want to add is I think that Louis and Juno's send off as characters was really good, was really well done. I think her and his send off were the only ones that I really felt like I enjoyed. Because with Legoshi and Haru, I just felt I was so kind of like still trying to think of like where Melon would go in it that I'm not a big fan of Legoshi and Haru's ending because it's just like, oh yeah, we're together, and it's like, well, okay, you are the main female protagonist and he's the main male protagonist. I think we knew this was going to happen. There's no going back to what really made like I was just reading volume 5, and there's a part in there where Legoshi literally calls Haru his prey, not his girlfriend, not his love, his prey. So to me, there's no part past like volume 6 where Legoshi grapples with his instincts versus his feelings for Haru again. So after that, I feel like their relationship is kind of stale up until a couple volumes before the finale where they actually kiss, and that's a big step for them and everything. But I feel like Legoshi and Haru's relationship is just, I want us to keep going, I want us to keep being awesome and amazing and this a beautiful couple and blah 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 blah. There's no, it's more all feelings rather than the concept of Beastars, where, Haru does add in there that, like, I'm a female rabbit, you're a male wolf, it's so hard for us to understand each other, and I understand that, but it's like, we knew that, can you give us something new that'll make their relationship actually seem like it's in danger for this last volume, and there's just nothing, because again, with the Melon Haru thing, if Melon and Legoshi had both fought for Haru, it would have been interesting to me because, if Melon won, he would have gotten to devour her, and if Legoshi won, he would have gotten to marry her, but there's still also the conflict there of, is Legoshi really fighting for Haru? Does he really love her? Or does his, like, feelings about wanting to devour, have they just changed into romantic feelings? Because that's something that you could argue is like, well, maybe he does want to eat her. I don't know. But they never kind of go back to that. So it's interesting. But Juno and Louis' send-off was really good. They go on kind of like a small date where they go on the train, and Juno kind of, she makes Louis touch her her fangs, because that's something that he was very attracted to when she kissed him. Like, he remembers that, and so she makes him touch them and remember them, the names of them, and then she basically leaves him in the dust. And because they have to go their separate ways, Louis has to marry this red deer, female red deer, to continue with his business, and Juno knows she can't be with him even though she loves him, so they just kind of go their separate ways. And I actually really like that ending because it's kind of realistic in the way of Louis understanding his responsibilities and Juno respecting those responsibilities. So the fact that they just go their separate ways, even though they're such a interesting couple, at least to me, they're such a good couple. Like, Juno and Louis' relationship almost is very much like Legoshi and Haru's relationship, but if the characters were both mature and both knew what they wanted. Like, Louis and Juno are very two put together characters. They know what they want, they're ambitious about it, and they're not afraid to show their true feelings. Whereas Haru is stuck in this mode of being just like, I don't know what I want. I want all these things, yet I don't want any of them. Go away, be here, go away. I don't want to be I love the way Legoshi makes me feel, but I also don't want to be a special rabbit. I want to be just like everybody else. All these things. She doesn't know what she fucking wants. And Legoshi too is just like, well, I want to be with her, but I don't want to hurt her. So, there's this kind of like turn away thing where it's like, I love you, but also stay away from me. So this whole goddamn series is like this. But with Juno and Louis, they very much know what each other want. They know that they're attracted to each other, and they both struggle with it. So the fact that they kind of go their separate ways almost feels very good. It feels very nice that, like, Juno's just like, okay, I'll leave you, and at the end of it, there's kind of this hint that Louis and his girl, his wife, this red deer girl, might actually get a little bit of a relationship, where Louis suggests that they go to a restaurant to eat, and she's like, well, that doesn't benefit our business relationship, and Louis like, well, we could just do it for fun, we're married now. So, there's this kind of hint that Louis and, I think her name is Naru or Nari or something like that, actually will develop, feelings for each other. And in particularly, I like this because that scene occurs after the Louis and Juno scene. So the fact that they left, not only did they go their separate ways, but they went their separate ways on good terms. Like, Juno and Louis had an understanding on that train. Like, this was the last time that they were going to be able to see each other on a date. And so I feel like it almost was like a relief for Louis, that he was like, I have this girl that is waiting for me. She loves me. I love her. I'm attracted to her. And yet we can't be together. I have responsibilities to my conglomerate. I have to marry this red deer. So it almost feels like the both of them have this massive weight taken off of their shoulders, where Juno's like, you'll always remember me. You'll always long for my giant canines, you'll always want that, and yet I'm going to let you go so that you can do your own thing. And the fact that Louis wants to take his wife out on an actual date so they can actually get to know each other it feels like that part of Louis that wanted Juno, he kind of just like, she's gone from my life, I feel like we left on good terms, this whole thing, and I feel like it was just a really good ending for their characters. That's my cat scratching at the door. I better go let her in, I guess. So yeah, out of all the characters, I feel like Juno and Louis was the best send-off to me. I just really liked the way that they were handled as a couple. My kitty's in here now. Hi, kitty. Yeah. So yeah, and nice send-off to all the characters too, honestly, but just, in minor ways, they kind of had this ending backstory where it's just like, this person did this, and this person went here, and all that kind of stuff, but Louis and Juno were the only ones, aside from Legoshi and Haru, that actually got an actual ending, and it was done really well. Lucy, what are you doing? What are you doing, kitten? Kitten? Oh, she smells like the outside. She smells like the outside. Yes, she does. So yeah, I think that was a good thing, and I'm glad that at least Louis and Juno got a ending that I was very much like, I like that ending. That's a good ending for those two characters, which again is kind of missing in these last volumes, where someone gets an actual good send off. So yeah, I think it's a good send off. I got my notes here in front of me, so I'll just and the last part that I wanted to talk about is another negative thing, and it's the entire reason I feel like the volumes are bad is the last couple volumes of the series, and it's because so much of it is made up of like moments instead of actual story. So there's tons of parts where there's like this interesting moment that happens, but it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's just something that happens that's like, look how cool this panel is, like, and also, hey, this scene and this part is really cool, and all these things, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It feels like it's and it reminds me of a series that I brought up previously, which is hilarious. But it's Hell of Boss, where it's, and I'm sure that there's other examples, but this is the first one that comes to mind because that whole series is like that, where each episode is like it's a good moment in a vacuum, but when you add it to the rest of the series, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, or it's a bad message, like all these things. And that's kind of what the last couple volumes of Beastars feel like, where there's so many parts, like Melon's transformation, where he's just like, yeah, I'm transforming. I'm more leopard now, and I'm gonna shoot your hand off, and all these things. And Legoshi, the part where Haru wants to marry Legoshi, and then she wants him to immediately divorce her, like that just kind of came out of nowhere. And yeah, she talks about why she says that, but it just feels like a moment where it's like, oh, the main characters are gonna get married. Oh no, they're not. There's still drama. Like this whole thing, and Melon biting Yahya's neck too when he's trying to take him to the hospital felt like it didn't need to be there. Where it was just a thing where it's like, oh, surprise, the evil villain that we've been hyping up as a psychopath the entire fucking series is still a psychopath. What do you fucking know? I know, Lou, I know. She didn't like the ending either. But yeah, it was just kind of crazy that like there's so much to Melon and all these characters that was just, it just made up of like moments where it's like, oh, the moments are there. There's these cool like fight scenes and moments and everything, and it's just like it just doesn't go anywhere. The whole thing with the Komodo dragons too was just made up of a bunch of moments. Legoshi gets his teeth back. Legoshi has to fight people like his grandpa. The Komodo dragons are like, yeah, we're poisonous beasts that have been oppressed. And it's like that's all good and well, but it doesn't serve the story, because again, Legoshi doesn't even go through all the characters to fight them. He goes to, like, the reason the Komodo dragons let him live is because he saved their tail bombs. Which is, like, weird to me, because it's like, okay, they realize that Legoshi has sympathy even for, having, like, tail bombs or whatever. He has a respect for life. And that's great, but why does that make you want to let him go? Like, you're fighting a turf war, and if your finger got blown off and you're fighting a turf war with somebody and they're like, I saved your finger, you wouldn't just be like, oh, you're such an amazing, sympathetic person. Oh, like, it was just felt weird. The Inarugumi, too, that whole fight scene, unnecessary because it doesn't go anywhere. Legoshi fights a female fox. He never gets the, like, idea that women are equal to him, which I understand that completely, Legoshi's perspective there, where he's like, I can't punch a female, and she's going on her whole feminist rant about like, you don't teach male gaze. Oh, the male gaze is so terrible, like, ugh. And you're just a disgusting wolf who's just a male wolf who is disgusting because you're a male. Like, this whole thing. And then she has the gall to be like, we've been oppressed all our lives, and, we get, ostracized because when it rains out, they say that we steal brides away or grooms away from people, because foxes and sun showers and all this stuff. And like, she's like, well, wolves are oppressed too. And I understand that there's a kind of a theme there with Legoshi trying to understand more about other types of species of beasts, right? That's a good thing, but you couldn't do that in any other way. Like, I feel like fighting somebody is one of the worst ways to get to know a person in terms of like what their species is all about. Like, what if the Komodo dragons never did their little ritual where they they make a circle in their scales and their blood and something, or they pop their tail bombs, and the whole thing felt like it was just like, nice moments, but it just felt useless to me. We never see these characters again. I didn't feel any love for them. Even the Komodo dragon guys, I was just like, this is just, I don't care. We don't know these people. Why aren't we fighting the Shishigumi? Like, that would actually give us some stakes. We know that Legoshi's not going to kill Komodo dragons. They remind him of his grandpa. And we know Legoshi's not going to kill any of the foxes because they're females and he doesn't want to kill a female. It's like none of it had any stakes. It was all just made of like moments, and the whole rest of the series, like leading up to 17, was like that, where it's just like, these moments. And honestly, the whole entire Melon Haru storyline is that. It's this moment where Melon meets Haru, and it's like it's telling the audience, ooh, what's gonna happen? The psychopathic Melon meets Haru. It's Legoshi's girlfriend. What's gonna happen? And then it's just like, okay, that's cool. That's interesting. Where are you gonna go with it? Nowhere. I didn't plan that far. I just wanted to make a cool little scene where Melon and Haru meet, and Melon talks about one of the key things about his character that we've nailed into the audience's head, that is like the reader's head, whatever. Like, I just feel like so much of it is moments. The moment that I absolutely loved, where Legoshi has Melon and both of them are talking about Haru and what they want to go with Haru, right? Where Melon's like, if I let him take me to jail, I'll never get to devour her and know what delicious tastes like, right? And then Legoshi's like, if I take Melon in, I can get my criminal record expunged and I can marry Haru. Like, that whole moment was just one of those things. It was just one of them fucking things where it's like, it's a moment. It's this awesome moment, but you're not going to go anywhere with it. You never go anywhere with it. And in the context of the rest of the series afterwards, it just feels like a dull part that didn't need to be there. If you're not, don't set up stuff and then don't do anything with them and then expect people to be like, that was a cool moment. It's like, it was, until we realized you weren't going to do anything with it, you know? Like, again, why not make Legoshi fight the Shishigumi, who we've learned to love as characters, right? We've learned to love these characters as, like, you know, all these characters, like Free and Agata and Dolph, like, all these characters we learned to love. Make Legoshi fight them so that we actually have some stakes here, but no, we can't do that. You hear her purring. Yeah, good Lou. Good Lou. Good Lou. She's a Manx. She doesn't have a tail, so that's why she doesn't have a tail. Sorry, I just showed you her butthole. But a little cat butt. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Where that's my main complaint, I think, at the moment, is there is so much of it felt like just moments that didn't lead to anything, that didn't need to be there. And that really sucks. Like, looking back at all my videos that I've been posting them and then rewatching them. I rewatch them before I post them, obviously, but I've rewatched them at work just to be like, is this any good even or anything? And other than me saying like 1,000 fucking times, which I understand, it irritates me too. I don't even know that I'm doing it, okay? Please have some mercy, but or don't. I don't care. It is annoying, so I don't mind people who are just like, oh God, they say like 1,000 times. I understand it's terrible. I'm trying not to do that, but when your mind's going 1,000,000 miles an hour, it's just hard to control your speech. But when I was re-listening to it at work, I was just like, so much of this is like moments that, like the black market thing too, where so much of it's like, the herbivores are in the black market. What are we going to do? They're going to find out the horrible secret that carnivores in the new age, they eat meat to make sure that the herbivore members are safe. What are they gonna do? What's their reaction gonna be? And then it's just like, oh yeah, the carnivores come in and like, we can't let you see this because we actually love our herbivore members and we do it to keep you safe, but it doesn't make it right, so let's tear it down. And it's this whole grand thing where all the carnivores and herbivores come together to destroy the black market. And it's like, that's all good and well, but tomorrow when the carnivores get hungry again, it's gonna be bad because they can't get any meat. Like, so much of it is like moments where it's supposed to be this grand thing, but when you actually look back at it, it's just a terrible idea. So it's the black market too. Melon's father is a big one where it's like, again, is it volume 20? I think it's volume 20, right? It's volume 21. No, it's volume 21. Volume 21 literally ends with a shot of Melon's father, where it's like, we're going to introduce Melon's father now, and what are we going to do with that? And my God, it's like, okay, so we're going to do something with this then. This is interesting, right? Melon's father is an interesting story plot. What are you going to do with it? Nothing. We're not going to do nothing with it. It's just going to be a thing where we talk about, explain more of Melon's backstory for some fucking reason that doesn't even make any sense, because again, why would Melon's mother lie to her son about eating his father? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Like, you could easily just say, well, your father left us, but I still love him a lot. Like, what? Like, again, they try and paint Melon's father as evil. I said this, I made a whole fucking video about this, I know, but I'm reinstating the fact that the entire time they're trying to establish Melon's father is just evil. He's an evil son of a bitch because he did all these things and he left Melon with his mom and all this stuff, and yet it makes Melon's mother look more like a bitch than Melon's dad at all. Like, the entire thing of trying to make Melon's dad out to be the villain here is like, why in the fuck would you make Melon's mother be like, oh no, actually I ate your father, but she didn't actually eat his father? Why tell your son that? Like, that's just crazy and insane and doesn't even make any sense. So the whole plotline of being like, we're gonna introduce Melon's father now. Wow, Melon's dad's alive. It's crazy. What are we gonna do with it? Is Melon gonna meet his dad? What's his reaction gonna be to that? We never get to know. We never get to know because they don't bring Melon's father to him. Yahya lies straight to his face when it comes to Melon talking about his parents. Yahya could have said he does have a father out there somewhere. Again, it's a moment where it's like, boom, this is crazy. What are we going to do with it? And it's like, it goes nowhere. So you did nothing with it. It's just a setup that never has a payoff. Setups that never have payoffs. Like, again, it's just made up of moments where it's like, this is crazy, and this is extreme, and this is grand, this is cool. Look at the artwork, which the artwork is fantastic, yes. But it's like, it feels like Hell of a Boss, where Hell of a Boss, so much of the attraction is the amazing animation. Like, oh, look at this awesome, amazing scene between these two characters. Or the songs, too, where, like, so many people get roped up into the Hell of a Boss's songs because they're pretty decent. I'm not a fan of musicals, so, but, you know, for people who are, they're pretty good songs. So I feel like people just completely dismiss the fact that so many of the moments in Hell of a Boss don't make sense, or they contradict each other, or makes the characters look like terrible hypocrites. Like, so many of these things in Beastars is really no different, where it wants you to be involved in these amazing moments, but the moments don't go anywhere. In fact, some of them contradict what we already know. Melon's father contradicts the fact that, you know, it's like, he's not evil. It makes his mom look actually more like a bitch. And the black market thing, too. The whole damn series, we go on talking about how necessary the black market kind of is for herbivores and carnivores to survive in peace. Yeah, right. We can all agree with this. No, actually, the black market is the true evil, and herbivores and carnivores destroy it together because now we're all friends and we're gonna all sing kumbaya and it's all gonna be this thing. And it's like, I thought the whole damn series was talking about the moral dilemma that is carnivores eating black market meat so that they don't hurt their herbivore members. Like, that's the whole fucking thing, right? Like, so again, it contradicts what we know, what the whole series has been building up to. So yeah, that's my thing here. I gotta end this real quick here again. But that's my conclusion to the Beastars ending. It had some goods, it had some highs, and it had some lows. But mostly lows, honestly. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Mostly lows. It so much of it was just moments that when you first read it, if you first read the volume, you're like, oh, this is badass as hell, yes! And then when you actually go back and read the rest of the series, you're like, so the whole thing with the black market, this whole sympathy thing with the carnivores where it's like it's a moral dilemma, herbivores need to understand that carnivores eat meat. We're just going to throw that all out the window for an ending that is just basically, literally, well, we're together, we'll always be together. Like this whole kumbaya fucking ending of love conquers all, baby! We don't need any moral dilemmas up in this bitch. Love just conquers all. It's the strongest weapon of all. We're just gonna get along. Like, if it's the whole... The idea of living in a world where the people are separated by predators and prey, that's the entire draw of the fucking series. Because, like, even Legoshi and Haru's relationship revolves around this. They're predator and prey, a wolf and a rabbit love story in this world where predators and prey are, that's what they are to each other. And you're going to tell me that the ending that we got is literally them just being like, oh no, actually, the black market, terrible place. We're just gonna tear it down because, that's the right thing to do. But is it? That's the whole point of a moral dilemma. Is it the right thing to do or is it not? Like, so I really wish I had better news, but I just really don't here because so much of it is just a I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to you guys to even make this. But I will say this. Try the series. Or watch the anime if you want, but it's nowhere near as good. Read the anime. I mean, read the manga. The manga is really good. Again, it's made up. It's really good up till like the Melon storyline. That's where I feel like everything falls off, which again just sucks because I love Melon as a character, but I feel like so many parts of it are just that where it's made up of moments. And I picked the most books that had the most contrivances in it or things that I thought hurt the ending more. But like when we meet Melon, that's when things really start to kind of go downhill in my eyes, where there's a bunch of moments that are really great but they don't really go anywhere. When Melon is first introduced, he's introduced as a poacher. He's a therapist, which like later contradicts the fact that he works as a teacher. Like, how do you go from therapist to teacher within, like, I'm pretty sure those need like degrees, don't they? Or maybe not a teacher, but like a therapist, you need certain degrees to be a therapist. Like, you can't just get into it being like, I'm just gonna be a therapist. Like, I don't know exactly how that works, but it feels like two very contradicting like jobs. And Melon's whole life as a poacher, he collects elephant bones, right? Yahya catches him when we first meet Melon. He's in therapy with an elephant, and it shows that he collects the bones in the tusks of elephants. His whole thing was that he was a poacher. First introduction, he's introduced as a poacher, never gets brought up again. I forgot to mention that when talking about Melon because I didn't think it was very relevant, but that's another thing where it's like this whole grand thing where Melon is a poacher. Like, imagine being in a world that is run by animals and being a poacher. Kind of interesting concept, right? Because mostly when we think of poacher, we think of a human that kills other animals. But an animal that is both carnivore and herbivore has no respect for animals because, he has no respect for either side. He's one of both. He's none. He's kind of this interesting moral, like, gray character not morally gray, but like gray in the way if he doesn't fit in a box correctly. So him being a poacher is very one of my most favorite things that he is it makes him a very interesting character, and we never get that again. He just becomes a teacher. He's the boss of the Shishigumi. We never hear about that, which honestly not as interesting to me as him being a poacher in a world where the animals are anthropomorphic. Like that just seems very much more interesting to me. So, but again, it's a moment. Okay, the moment where we meet Melon is like this grand moment where it's like, oh, he's a poacher in this interesting world. Where are we gonna go with this? This is interesting because like the world is run by animals and there's a poacher. Interesting. No, we're not gonna do anything with it. It's gonna fall off. It's never gonna be mentioned again. So, okay. Anyway, I gotta get done with this video. Jesus Christ. So that was my Beastars. This is gonna be the last video. So goodbye, Beastars. I might talk about you again sometime because I might come back to the series, honestly. But that is it for now. Be sure to watch the rest of the series. I'm trying to put them all in a playlist so you can watch them all back to back. I wrote a book, by the way. I'll try and remember. I keep forgetting to put the link in that son of a bitch. So you can't even buy it. But it's Red Haven. It's by Draven Nagel. You might put it into Amazon and it might come up. It might not. I don't know. I'll try and put the link in there in this last video here. But that'd be great. I did write a book. So anyways, that is going to be the end of the Beastar saga. My name is Draven. This has been The Dragon's Tongue. Peace.